Welcome to Biztech's Technology Show, the show where we feature tech companies operating across Asia, talking about their solutions and how they make a difference to their customers' businesses. Today, we speak to Charles Hung, the CEO and Executive Director of Blue. Now, Blue is the first digital life insurer in Hong Kong. Now, Charles, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Charles, could you just give us a Blue and how it started just very recently, actually?
Yes, we actually started our business in September 2018 in view of many customer pain points that you're actually seeing in the Hong Kong insurance industry. I'll give you a few examples. I think one of the many famous pain point is the inflexibility of product that we actually see in the market. And Hong Kong market is also very dominated by kind of intermediary channels. Direct business is actually only representing a very, very low percentages of the industry. And not to mention that I think overall customer satisfaction is actually not very high. So we actually launched Blue to disrupt the market, to really address all these pain points. We have been in business for 3 years, and we're seeing very healthy growth of our business so far.
So Charles, when you started, I think the digital penetration rate was something in the region of 2% or so in terms of the Hong Kong market, which is very surprising for a very mature market like Hong Kong. What were the key reasons? Because after all, in Asia, Hong Kong is one of the most mature insurance markets.
It's an excellent question. I think if you compare the penetration rate or digital penetration rate of insurance business to the other financial industry like banking, brokerage business, insurance penetration on digital is awfully low. I think due to a few reasons. I think one is really is about customer behavior, right? Customer behavior in the sense that I think people are very used to having agency, very used to having somebody next to you to actually help you to just kind of go through the processes. I think that's a very important reason. Secondly, I think that's been lacking choices, that's been lacking disruptors who has the courage or have the capability to actually make the change. So we're here to make that happen, hopefully. And again, I think all these so-called kind of low penetration will change. I think if you look at the brokerage business, for example, I think it started perhaps 10 years ago. I think what do you actually have to do when you actually need to buy a stock, for example? You have to call up an AE, you have to call up an agent. Today, 99% of the trades are actually carrying out through e-brokerage, for example. I think the trend is there. I think unfortunately the insurance industry has been really lagging behind. So we're here to make a difference.
Also, Charles, one of the key things with the Hong Kong market and other markets as well is previously, before people like Blue came into the market, the products were very, very complex. Premiums were high because of all the add-ons that were on the products themselves. And that's why you perhaps needed intermediaries to then explain the complexity of the products. You, however, as a digital insurer, that's part of your disruption, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, talking about simplicity, right? I personally don't believe product has to be complicated. I personally don't believe the process has to be complicated. I think we kind of self-generating the issue, right? I think if you as a consumer, if I ask you, what are the key questions that you actually want to know about insurance product? You'll be a very kind of inner person if you can ask more than 10 questions about an insurance product, right? So why would therefore an insurance product need to be that complicated? I think also with the maturity of technology these days, right, a lot of the impossibles become possible. If you look at booking a hotel, for example, who would believe you can actually book a hotel, book an e-ticket through the internet today? I mean, 5-10 years ago, you would never believe that could happen. Yes. But today, with the maturity of technology, a lot of the what we call previously impossible stuff is now becoming possible because of the technology. I would even argue for even some of the complex stuff, even products, can be resolved, can be addressed through the proper technology, the proper user experience. But having said that, I think our design principle is to be as simple as possible. Not just about products, but also about the process. It's also about the language as well. Sometimes people love to talk about jargon, so particularly in the insurance industry, premium holidays, bonuses, and reversal bonus, and there's a lot of jargons that I think a lot of people actually find it very, very difficult to understand. And also some of the features of the products, actually, you know what, might not be useful to a lot of customers, but they are in the product. And they're being add on to the cost of the products. So we do believe product can be simple, the process can be simple, the language can be simple, and therefore bring maximum value to our customers.
And because you're the first digital insurer, you obviously made a blank sheet of paper from a technology perspective. Walk us through some of the innovations that you did in order to ensure a better customer experience.
That's another quick question. So first of all, let's recap a little bit about the pain point that we're trying to address first, right? I mentioned about the need for simplicity. I mentioned about the need for flexibility. You mentioned about the impression that, customer feel that insurance product seem to be quite expensive. So value to the customer is actually very important, right? So looking at those three kind of pain points, we had a 24/7, a very user-friendly, direct quote and buy journey platform where our customer can actually do the quote, do the purchase, do the whole purchase of the policy online, really within a few minutes. I think that's a convenience, a simplicity that we actually bring to our customer. Part of the process, I think, for insurance product, the complication is about the KYC process. We have implemented an eKYC solution where our customer can actually complete the whole journey digitally within a few minutes. We have also an e-underwriting solution where our customer can only need to go through a few very simple health-related underwriting questions. Not to mention all these are actually supported by our cloud solution, right? So everything that we have built on is on cloud, so it brings scalability, efficiency, and also effectiveness to our customer. We also have a facial recognition solution. Again, that's also part of the quote and buy journey as well, where it brings efficiency, it brings simplicity to our customer, so they can actually complete the journey in a very, very easy manner. Adding to this, one of the very important things about claims as well, like buying insurance. Normally, you ask, buying it perhaps is easy, but how about making a claim? Is that just as easy as well? So we have invested a lot on the claim processing as well. For example, one of the products that we actually have called PharmaEasy, market innovation. The first insurance product actually covers pharmacy products, meaning vitamins that you purchase, masks that you actually purchase in view of the COVID situations right now. It's actually covered by that policy. And the claim process itself is so simple. Basically, all you need to do is just upload the receipt, and you'll be surprised to hear this, and you can actually receive your claim payment within 2 hours normally.
Wow.
So that's a very...
So that's best in class by a country mile.
Yeah. We have built in a lot of AI technologies to actually make that happen, right? Behind it is a deep learning AI technology recognizing the receipt, recognizing the items that you have purchased, is that within our coverage, all that kind of stuff. Again, not to get into the technical bit, but we have implemented the AI solutions to actually make that happen. A lot of people also ask the question, how do you, because you don't have the intermediary, right? How do you actually attract customers, right? So one of the other stuff that we have invested a lot is also on digital marketing. Digital marketing, a lot of people do digital marketing, right? But a deeply data-driven digital marketing, utilizing big data, utilizing a lot of the data in the market to be more accurately targeting at customers that we want, and also be able to present a more appropriate solutions to the customers. Also a very important technology as well.
Charles, what does your customer base look like today?
Our customer base is a pretty wide range, but I would say that I think the core customer segments, age segment that we have is from 20 to 50. Having said that, I think those segments, if you further break down into kind of more detailed segments, they all buy different products. But we're seeing a very good concentration of customers from 20 to 50.
And what sort of products are most popular now in 2021, last year, for example?
Right, sure. Our flagship product, our WeSave products, offering a very competitive guaranteed interest rate for our savings. At the same time, also offer flexibility, meaning that you can surrender anytime without any surrender charges. Again, I need to make sure people understand this, because for a traditional product, for a traditional market, if you surrender anytime before the maturity dates, normally there's a very deep surrender charges that the insurance company will charge you. With the first one, I would say with one of the first one, actually charge zero surrender charges, and at the same time providing a very high guaranteed interest rate. This is one of our flagship products. We're seeing normally the more mature market segment will be interested in this product, meaning that they are paying a higher premium, possibly because of the affordability of that market segment. But our kind of term life and CI was also a very good sell. Those products normally provide a very steady inflow of the business for us. The younger segment normally, when they buy savings product, normally the premium we're seeing that I think it's a lower ticket size, which is understandable, right? Because of the age, because of perhaps the affordability. But also at the same time, we're seeing a lot of the door opener products. For example, I mentioned about the Pharma Easy product, the first product that having the pharmacy, vitamins, supplements coverage. Those are also very good sell for the young segment, because obviously insurance is very new to them, and they like to learn more. So those products are actually very good for them. So we're seeing a very good inflow of customers buying those products.
Now, what are some of the key trends that you've noticed, Charles, in the Hong Kong insurance space in the last couple of years? Sure.
Well, first of all, I think a few years back, I think people always talk about digital strategies, right? But today, I don't think people will talk about digital strategies anymore, because digital is almost part of the business plan that you must have. It's not something that you think that it's going to be a different animal, for example, right? So it's now part of the business. We're seeing company adopting digital plans, digital innovation, digital implementation a lot faster than before, right? And also with the COVID situation, there has been an increasing appetite of health products, and also changing of customer behaviors as well, right? The adoption of purchasing online is a lot higher. The demand for health products looks like the increasing trend will sustain. So in summary, I think high adoption of digital implementation, digital technology by insurance company, to high adoption of kind of purchasing online, high demand of health-related products, and also high demand on security. Security in the sense that people are in view of all these volatility in the market, right? People are looking for stability, right? Something that's more secure. That's why we design our savings products, right? Giving our consumer like a guarantee, a very competitive guarantee rate, and at the same time, you can actually withdraw money at any time. So that gives people the sense of security. So we're seeing that as the kind of market trend, and therefore, how are the company actually reacting to that? I think what I'm seeing is, or what I would be expecting is that I think there will be a lot more adoption of the ABCD technology, I think, by the insurance industry, a lot faster than before. I think before people always talk about the 3-5 year plan. I think now we're talking about, implementation of those technology now. So the ABCD, you're seeing a lot more adoption and faster adoption. And two is, I think it's also on the expectation on customer experience, the expectations on propositions, right? I think with the high demand, with the high demand on e-services, with the high demands on products, people are also looking for more tailored solutions. So therefore, I think the insurance company or the players will be looking to building more tailored products, building more customized customer experience rather than kind of one size fits all, that kind of solution. So you'll be seeing perhaps a lot more micro insurance products, more niche, more addressing a specific segment, satisfying a specific needs of customers, and also need-based, usage-based insurance as well. I think again, rather than a blanket solutions for everybody, it will be the pricing might be charged by usage rather than one price for all age segments.
Charles, are you anticipating a lot more competition then from digital-only insurers because of all the opportunities that are out there?
Oh, absolutely. I think when we talk about competition, let's maybe be clear on that. I think we're seeing more players, more digital players coming into the market. That's one competition. But we're also seeing competition from the traditional players as well, right? The traditional players are also implementing, quote, their own kind of digital plan, complementing the intermediary channels as well. So we're seeing competition on both sides. But again, I think you look at the overall penetration, it's still a pretty low percentage at this point. So I think the opportunities is still very, very significant. And also maybe worth mentioning is that one of our ambition is not just about kind of competing on the existing market. The reason why we call blue is because we have a blue ocean strategy. It's really looking into the blue ocean, looking into a new market, looking into a new segment, really trying to give alternative to the existing people, at the same time trying to engage the forgotten segment and engage the new segment that has been underserved.
So Charles, give us an example maybe of some of the segments you think are currently underserved.
I'll give you an example, very, very simply. I think the young age segment, for example, I think normally those people do not have a deep pocket, very new to insurance. A lot of times, I think selling product to those segments that might not be very profitable. Might not be very profitable for insurance company, might not be very profitable for the intermediary, right? Because the ticket size, because of various reasons. So I think those are people perhaps I think need to be better served. I think you look at the millennials or the Gen Z, I think those segments are emerging. These days, I think people are a lot more digital savvy, and they are going to become the core of the population for going forward. So for me, I think engaging those segments early on, I think providing the right solution to those people, to those segments, will be a very good, will be very important strategies.
Now, is going out of Hong Kong part of your strategy as well, Charles?
We are only allowed to, we're only licensed to do business in Hong Kong at this point. And certainly we're looking at the Greater Bay opportunity, because the Greater Bay does offer us a much larger kind of size of population and opportunity. So at this point, I think I would say that we're only allowed to do business in Hong Kong, and sky is the limit, right? Blue sky thinking. So we do believe we will capture the appropriate opportunity when it arises.
Charles, how was 2021 in terms of numbers for Blue?
We are seeing very healthy growth for our business. I think give you some numbers. Forgive me, I cannot give you all the details because we are a regulated business, so we need to report to the regulator first before we kind of release the public. We have done over 650 million on AFYP. That's totally digital, totally online. So over 650 million.
Is that Hong Kong dollars or US dollars?
That's Hong Kong dollars.
Hong Kong dollars.
Number of policies, we're seeing a growth rate of over 100%. Let's put that in context. I think this year we do over 650 million. The first year we only did a few million. So we have come a long way, and the journey has not been easy. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm speaking as if this is so straightforward. I think this is very easy, but changing the customer behavior, changing an over 100-year-old kind of legacy industry, it's difficult. It's difficult. But we're confident. We're confident about the future. We're confident about the emerging of the new generation. I think we do believe digital is the future for those new segments.
Charles, I want to zoom in on you now, because this is your first CEO role after various roles with global organizations ranging from AIA to Prudential to Merrill Lynch and Goldman Sachs. So you've been around the block. Could you share some key learnings that you took from previous roles into this job?
Of course. Well, first of all, I've been very fortunate, right? I would say that I've done most of the functional roles in my career. I've done IT, operations, risk, strategies, everything that you can think of within an organization. The only functional area I haven't done really is actuarial function, but at some point I think I will get to that. But, so I'm very fortunate, right? A very kind of good experience for me was, unforgettable experience for me was actually when I was starting my career. I remember I hated my job. I told myself, I'm graduated from good school. I think I have all this knowledge, but my first job was actually to do documentation and testing. So I'm like, oh my God, what a waste of my ability. It's constantly in my head. I'm like, what am I doing in this organization? What am I doing in this team? But I have to say, I think later on, as I put more effort to it, later on as I really get into it, I actually find out doing testing and doing documentation allows for me to learn everything about the system, the organization, right? Think about this. Who would know the system better besides the tester? The tester is testing the whole system.
Yes.
I actually know every single detail of how the system works and what didn't work. And also doing documentation as well. Doing documentation, you really have to get down, you have to explain to people how the system works. So before you can do that, you have to understand everything about the system, the process, right? So that was very dear to me in terms of my experience is, and I will never forget that. And I always mention that. I think initially a very, I would say, less glamorous job. Right? For me, I always look for something that's very glamorous. Being the head of the team, executing some big changes, it's a good thing. But sometimes, don't underestimate some of the less glamorous role will actually allow you to grow as well. So everything to me, if I look back, right, everything that I have done actually has deepened my experience, has given me a lot of learnings. So that's a great learning for me, and I still carry that through my career. That's why you look at my career path, I've done many things, right? Because for me, it's the learning. Every role you got to get deep into it. You gotta don't always just scratch the surface and always complain, and embrace it, take on it, and do the best you can. I think it will pay off. I think that's my big learning. So for me, I think have been around like you, and haven't been around in many functional areas, allows me to have a very good understanding of the business, right? Be the asset management, be the equity trading, be brokerage business, be insurance, of course. Having been through IT and operation allows me to have a very deep understanding of the business, and therefore I can direct and maybe lead better. So that has given me a very good platform. That has given me a very good stage for me to take on the current role right now.
Charles, final question. What advice would you like to share with people who are perhaps just about to take their first CEO jobs, or perhaps even interviewing for their first CEO jobs?
That's a very difficult question. But, I guess for me, I think if I look at many of my colleagues, a lot of people, when they get into CEO, they like to show the leadership. They like to show the authorities, right? But one of my very dear friend who has been in the industry for a very long time taught me a kind of a motto, right? He said, before you lead, you have to serve. So I encourage whoever comes becoming a new CEO, I think we have to demonstrate you can serve, and then to lead. So don't forget that. Don't be rushing to demonstrate, I guess, the authorities and the leadership yet. I think being able to lead and then serve for me is actually very important. So that will be what I would suggest to the new CEO comers.
Now, Charles, it's been a fascinating conversation. Thank you very much for taking your time to be on this show.
Same here. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you.
I'm Editor. We've been speaking to Charles Hung, the CEO and Executive Director of Blue, on Biztech's Technology Show. This video and podcast will be on our various social media platforms, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.